Do you know you can stereotype people and discriminate with them in almost 150 different ways? Yes, you heard it correct. 150 different ways. It is awesome, right? Today we'll talk about one of the favorite things we love to do, having opinions. You know, you have it, I have it, everyone has it. If you ask me whether there is any valid justification or base for those opinions, I will say it is complicated. Hi, my name is Deep and you're watching Novus. You may have experienced people around you putting tags over you or on someone else based on religion, food choices, hometown, or even on the basis of skin color. Obviously, those tags depend on someone's experience, perception, prejudice, or in certain cases it could be a combination of all. So one important question arises: these perceptions or choices that people make, is it random or does it have some kind of pattern? Maybe SocioPhysics can help us clear our confusion. But before that, look, there is a red line. This happens when a word is not that popular. So I am guessing that this is the first time you are hearing this word. So SocioPhysics is an emerging research area which tries to mix subjects such as sociology and physics together. Specifically, SocioPhysics tries to explain human behavior through mathematical tools that are based on theories of physics. In short, SocioPhysics deals with opinion dynamics, or how opinions are formed. Again, if you are hearing this opinion dynamics for the first time, then let me give you a very brief idea. Opinion dynamics suggests that none of your ideas are original. Your ideas or thoughts depend on the interaction with people around you. Those people who influence your opinions could be your friends, family, co-workers, or even your virtual leaders. The interesting part is this theory is quite similar to the Ising model from physics, which talks about how polarity of magnets could change with their interactions. Let us just skip the detail of Ising model as of now. We'll try to focus on a model of opinion dynamics called bounded confidence model. Bounded confidence model is quite simple to understand. If there are two people with different opinions on the same topic, then what happens is based on three factors. First, what is the difference in their opinion? Everyone has a mental block that if the difference in thought with the other person is above a certain level, then there will be no interaction. Let us denote this threshold of difference in opinion as capital D. If the value of difference in thought is less than capital D, then only the two people will interact. The second factor is influence. Let us denote it with capital I. When two people interact, they may or may not compromise to come to a common conclusion. This whole compromise will depend on the value of capital D, our first factor. However, if interaction happens, then whose opinion will shift towards whom and by how much, that depends on the influence parameter, that is capital I. Another important factor is population. It is easier to understand an example with two people, but it is also very unlikely that only two people will interact with each other. In a nearby region, you will find thousands and thousands of people interacting with each other. So let us denote the third important factor, population, as capital P. These are the three factors which may influence opinion formation. So now, let me give you a real life example. Suppose you want to order some food from a restaurant. You may have done it many times before without any problem. What could go wrong? Let us see.
ये है मेंटोस जिंदगी।
This is an example of mentor zindagi, where people compromise to come to a solution. Now let me give you an example of आम जिंदगी.
ये है आम जिंदगी.
This is an example of आम जिंदगी, where people have their own priorities and may not compromise to come to a common conclusion. This was an example of a system where two people are interacting, but let me give you a system with more than two people interacting. What may happen, we can better explain using graphs. Suppose in a system there are 1000 people interacting. The influence parameter is 0.5 and the threshold difference of opinion is 0.5. That is, people with an opinion difference of 0.5 or less will only interact. The graph shows how initially 1000 people with random opinions with time merge to a single thought process. But the second graph suddenly changes to two different streams. The two streams become stable over time. So the interesting question is, what changed? The only thing that changed is the value of capital D from 0.5 to 0.2. Every other parameter is constant. The result suggests that the only thing that matters in opinion formation is the threshold of difference in opinions. If you decrease the value of capital D further, you will see more and more conflicting opinions. The aim of this video is not to highlight whether more conflicting opinions are good for society or not. The only problematic thing is that the value of capital D on many different issues are decided by your elders or by your virtual leaders. You may have seen many examples of people debating around you or on national television for hours, and at the end they don't come to any kind of conclusion. This reason is simple. The value of D is very small. It makes any kind of interaction very difficult and the other side seems like an enemy. There is a book named The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and the author's name is Stephen R. Covey. I like the book a lot. So there's a quote that explains how defective people listen to give a reply, not to understand. I hope you can see some similarities. So the only solution is to understand that every opinion has its pros and cons. Not to decrease the capital D so much that it becomes impossible for the future generation to even interact and to understand the other side of a coin. This is the motivation of this channel, where we will try to highlight not only the black and white, but also the in-between gray area. We are at the end of this video. One pro tip for you. From now on, if you listen to someone's opinion and feel angry because it does not match your opinion even remotely, you have two options. First, just remember that the person's opinion is not his opinion, but a combination of the opinions from the people he interacts with. Or else, if it doesn't help, then opt for the second option, meditation. You really need it to control your anger. This video pops one important question, that whether Indian election is better with more parties with more conflicting opinions, or the US system is good, where there are only two parties, Democrats and Republicans. Maybe we'll talk about that in some other video. So, what do you think? Is it better to have more conflicting opinions in a society, or to have a society where everyone may agree with each other? Share your views in comment section below. Thank you for your time. Stay safe. I'll see you in next video. Jai Hind.